We're going to begin by looking at a variety of masks. The first mask that we're going to look at are Alaskan masks. These masks show symmetrical and asymmetrical designs. Also, some masks use real horsehair. These African masks have a religious purpose, and they're used in a lot of rituals and dances. African masks have also influenced European art movements like Cubism. Pablo Picasso loved African art. Many masks also have animal attributes. Sometimes patterns in the African masks have meaning. Checkered board patterns represent interaction with the opposites, like night and day. Large chins and mouths represent authority. And also, animals are used symbolically in masks. The next few masks were used for healing rituals. One of the things that I like about the Japanese masks are the dramatic features of their faces. These masks are some of the oldest masks found to date. Looking at these masks, I want you to pay attention to the different geometric shapes and patterns. I will be providing rubber stamps that you can actually lay across the clay to get a lot of these kinds of textures and patterns. The cutouts in these masks are also known as negative space. Not only do you have the opportunity to build up the clay on your mask, but you can also cut out areas in your mask, and we could even put things behind the holes like tin foil or colored paper. Masks can be made out of wood, clay, textiles, bronze. Sometimes they even use animal skins, bones, and shells. Anything that you can find, you can include in a mask. As you look at these examples of masks, I want you to decide if your mask will have animal or human attributes. Will your mask be more realistic or abstract? What types of patterns will your mask use? Will you cut out areas? After you watch the tutorial, you will design your mask on the paper at the tables. Okay, you guys have been looking at some awesome pictures of masks, and now I'm going to kind of give you an idea of how we're going to take our sketches that you're going to draw and you're going to transform it into an actual clay mask that's 3D. On the table, you'll have a wad of paper towels, and you can easily create a prop to create a 3D version. Now, it doesn't matter how many times I give you guys clay and try to teach kids to do 3D. Over time, when they just keep pushing, and it ends up losing that 3D shape. So really try to keep it 3D, okay? After you get that paper towel underneath, you can trim off the extra around to make it more of the shape that you desire. I'm going to take all the extra clay and put it aside because I'll probably reuse it for another thing. All right. Now, you can do a realistic mask. You can do a more abstract mask. I'm going to try to do a little bit of both to show you kind of how I approach it. Oops, excuse me. All right, so now I'm going to take my thumbs and I'm going to make eye sockets. Okay. And then I'm going to take my fingers and I'm going to push the clay up to create a bridge of a nose. Now, often, you know, you may want to make your forehead larger. You may want to make sure you leave room for a mouth. So the nose, I'm going to make a little short nose. You can use your fingers. You can even come in here with a pencil and create nostrils. You can add the popsicle sticks or any wooden tool. Always makes a really good tool to press into the clay because it doesn't stick. You may want to build. If from the side it's not large enough, you could always add an extra piece of clay to the bridge of the nose. Now you're gonna have a cup with water and there may be forks and toothbrushes. So anytime you attach clay at all, you always have to score and slip. So this is the scoring and scratching. There was water inside, so there's water in there. That's the slip. And now I'm gonna kind of smooth it into it so it doesn't look like a ball. It just looks like the nose is a little bigger, okay? I'm a more realistic person with my style. It's kind of harder for me to be more abstract because I like to do portraits, so it's just natural for me. But you can do whatever you want. If I wanted to turn this into a more abstract version, I might add some cool lines into it. And these would be called contour lines because they kind of fit the shape of the nose and they emphasize that shape a little bit more. You could even you know, come in and do other patterns that you like. You could take the pencil and add textures and different decorative aspects. Now, eyes. You've already got your eye sockets, so you're gonna wanna take another ball of clay to create a pupil. Now, when you're using clay, a lot of times you wanna think about the shadows that you're creating. So my fork may be too large to score and slip this area, so I use just poke holes in there. There's toothbrushes with water. You can add a little water to it. You're gonna stick it in there, okay? Now, the bridge of the eye, you can create like a little coil. I'm gonna flatten it a little bit. I'm gonna scratch this side with a little bit of water. And I'm gonna scratch this side and add a little bit of water too. If it's not enough water, you can use a toothbrush. And this is gonna create almost like an eyelid. You can even smooth it up if you would like. Now you don't have to do the bottom lid. You could do this, I would do the bottom lid the same way if I'm doing more of a realistic, but in this case, I don't really want to do a realistic one. I use the edge of the end of the eraser, the tip of the pencil, and it's created some cool shadows there. You can take the ends of any tool if you want to create, you know, pattern on the eyebrow. You could even mimic the same little dots across if you'd like to do that. I'm only going to do one side for the demonstration today. All right, now the mouth. If you want, you could make the mouth open and you could cut away space so you have like a negative space. I could put tinfoil behind it, or I could even take, I've had students, I'd take holes right here and poke holes in, and then after we fire it, we stick toothpicks in there and they stick out like sharp teeth. That's kind of fun. If you want to build up some lips, you can roll a coil on the floor, on the ground, not on the ground, on the table. I'm going to use these as score marks. I'm going to add my water. And maybe I want to create some lips here. I'm careful not to create a mustache. Now, I don't necessarily might want to smooth this in. I kind of want to keep it where it looks like that. You could take the wooden stick and add indentions if you would like. You can also take a tool and create what looks like teeth. We could even add teeth later. You know, you could take white poster board and glue it on in the background later. All those things are things that we can do. We can add feathers, buttons, and beads. All I ask is, you know, you may want to create indentions of where you're going to put those things, okay? If you want to add wrinkles in the forehead like I had in my original design, you could push into the clay with the pencil, or you could just add a coil to it and create those wrinkles. So you don't have to take away, you could add to it. So there's lots of options. Now horns, anything that's small, I would not put anything small coming out of it. I would do that with another material like cardboard or paper or something like that. I would not do it with clay because the chances of something sticking out of it will fall off. If you want to add ears or anything, you just want to make sure that the clay is about the thickness of a cookie. I say an Oreo cookie and the kids get hungry, but you always want to score and slip it really well so that it doesn't come apart. If you want to put a hole in the ear, maybe you want to make some cool earrings with wire and beads, you know, you could always attach it later. If you have a plan, which hopefully you'll create today, you know, then you know later on I'm going to put toothpicks here and I'm going to add beads here. I'm going to put feathers up here. So I want you to kind of have a plan of what you're going to do. All right. I hope you enjoyed it.